Hi, so we'll be talking about how colors have a very big influence on humans. And I'm going to be talking about how the change of traditional colors in the classroom and the walls, like this, the color white and gray, how they can be changed to something more colorful to help students become more productive and focus more in class. And I'm going to talk about how there are different kinds of colors and how their different kinds can affect how can have different effects on each person. So the traditional color of white, it's very bland and neutral. It doesn't have the same effects as other colors. In the Psychology of Color article, it says some shades of gray and white are associated with old age, death, taxes, depression, or a lost sense of direction, and we don't want that in our classrooms. And compared to that, other colors such as warm colors and cool colors, they have more pleasing effects on humans. Cool colors are colors such as green and blue, and just light colors like that. And their effects can have a calming and stabilizing effect on people. And that can help when students are nervous or they're intimidated by the material. Other colors are like warm colors. These are like red and yellow, and they're very exciting colors to look at, and subconsciously can help students focus more. And places like restaurants like McDonald's use it in their signs. And yeah. Now, the combination of these colors will have the most beneficial effect in that if you have too much red or too much focus, it can distract students. Too much of a calming effect can have students sleeping in class. Here in another article titled Classroom Wall Colors and How They Impact Learning, it says, red colors can enhance learning by energizing students and making them more attentive to trying to avoid mistakes. Blue colors can invoke a calm, relaxed feeling that can make students more open to new ideas. Yellows and oranges can also increase creative energy. On the other hand, white and off-white shades can be boring and make students more restless. White can also cause frustration. There have been certain studies done that can show how different colored classrooms can help improve students. In one test, they put students into classrooms with light blue, yellow, green, and orange walls, and after taking their IQ beforehand and afterwards, they noticed that their scores increased by 12 points on average. Those placed in white, black, or brown rooms made lower scores when given a new IQ test. Overall, researchers have found that bright colors tend to increase creativity and energy. Dark colors conversely lower stress and elicit feelings of peacefulness. The colors yellow, light orange, beige, and off-white are useful for optimal learning because they seem to stimulate positive feelings. Now, by balancing these colors, we can help students control what they're focusing on and creating a better environment for them to focus and have productivity. In Redesign the Classroom for Increasing Students' Productivity, a different article, it says, by balancing warm and cool colors, bright and subdued, a pleasing effect can be achieved that will reduce absenteeism in schools and keep the students focused on what the teacher is saying. Test scores go up when children are not in a stark white environment, which can feel sterile and cold. Another bonus to having a colorful classroom is that we can have students paint them. An effect of this, on campus we have a lot of free-thinking students. A lot of students want to express themselves, and having them, paint the classrooms can be a nice way for them to do that and show what they're really feeling and make the school a better-looking place and a place that's more enjoyable for everyone. So, in conclusion, having classrooms more colorful can can help them focus more, can help them calm down when they're too anxious, can help them focus on their studies, can make them less intimidated by the material, and make a better place to be for everyone. Thank you.
All right, well, the opening of the speech, again, there's no attention device, just an identification of the topic. You go right into the proposition without kind of highlighting that that is, in fact, the proposition. And the way it's phrased, it almost sounds like it's the thesis for an informative speech instead of a declarative sentence. So you need to be a little bit more assertive about that. I think that you do lay out some of the secondary points, but only partially, and it needs to be a little bit sharper. Go ahead and make that a distinct part of the opening part of the speech, and that'll clarify things for the audience. You could do a little bit more in explaining the controversy on this subject, because I'm not sure that there's going to be a huge amount of dispute that colors might have an impact on people. There might be a question about how big the impact is, or whether or not it would justify taking actions to change the colors in the classrooms, especially considering expense or time or any of those sorts of things. The bigger issues have to do with the impact that it's having in the classroom and how substantial they are. You've got a lot of hypotheticals in the first point that I didn't think did much to promote the argument that you had. But as you went on, you cited several places. There's an interesting article, and the titles of these articles and these sites are very applicable to the subject that you're talking about, so I thought that was pretty good. The problem is that all we get are the titles of the articles. I don't know who is writing these things and how they reach those conclusions. If you're going to ask us to accept the opinion of this website or this book, then we ought to know what the qualifications of these people are who put out that website or who wrote that book. Because otherwise, it's, like I said, just somebody writing online, and I don't know why I should believe anything that they're saying. The one place where there was some specific information that suggested statistical data, you mentioned studies, for example, but I didn't get a specific name on any study. I got vague references to most of the studies. The one study that provided a specific number was the one about the 12-point difference in IQ testing before and after. And again, it wasn't given a separate citation. It was kind of generally referred to, and I think that that's a little bit problematic. But I did think that you were trying to cite the sources. They just weren't as complete as they needed to be. The generalizations, again, I'm not sure that there's a lot of controversy on what you're talking about, so it's not hard to make the inferences that you're discussing. Pacing's a little bit inconsistent, but you did an okay job talking to the audience. I did think that the summary did a nice job kind of reselling the argument for us. All right, thank you.